Okay, thanks a million, Krevin. Hello, everyone. So, digital survey strategies for asset capture and verification. So, essentially, what this is about is filling in the gaps in your CMMS. So, we work with a lot of facilities, a lot of CMMS systems. And what we see is we see three types of data in a CMMS. We see the right data, the wrong data, and no data. So, let's talk about that. But before we get into that, we'll give you a quick overview of what PlantQuest is about. We'll talk about the importance of quality asset data to your organization. We'll then look at field data operations. How do you deal with these issues with your CMMS from the field? We'll then give a quick demo of the tool that we've built to do that. You can see it on the right there. We'll give a quick case study of a biopharma client who's used this solution, and then we'll talk you through a typical deployment. So before we get started, let's talk about some metrics around asset management in your site, and we can keep these in mind as we go through the day. So what percentage of your CMMS is current and up to date? So how trustworthy is the data in your CMMS, basically? Next is how much critical knowledge is trapped inside people's heads. So if you lost 3 or 4 of these key people, how much of an issue would it be for your site? How easy is it to record asset data in the field? So generally we see 2 times when asset data is recorded in the field, and that's just at the end of commissioning when we're looking to build out a CMMS. And then we're looking at this ongoing kind of brownfield sustaining of a site and sustaining of CMMS. So how easy is it to get asset in there? I'm not just talking about one piece of information, but if you have a campaign going on or a shutdown going on, how easy is it to access and record that information? And finally, does your CMMS have any kind of location intelligence attached to it? Generally, what we see the answer to that is no. So what is PlantQuest? We like to call it Google Maps for factories. It does a lot more than that. It really demystifies the complexity of advanced manufacturing facilities. If people are looking to visualize their brownfield or greenfield site, we are the go-to solution for that. We're especially useful to brownfield sites where data quality is poor and digital solutions aren't really optimized for them. We're an asset-focused solution. The PlantQuest team are all asset management people. So we built this to allow us to search, locate, and navigate to assets and to really take CMMS data and bring it to the next dimension, if you want to call it the Industry 4.0 visualization tool for asset management. We're built on leveraging and integrating existing systems. In this case today, we'll be talking about CMMS, and we bring spatial context to all the assets and tasks within a CMMS. So quality asset data equals success. So really within the asset management field, there's 4 types or 4 personas. So asset leaders, they care about maintenance execution, they care about spare parts, and they and they care about other KPIs around mean time to repair, staff turnover, data quality. CMMS admins are responsible for feeding information to planners, technicians, for feeding KPIs to asset leaders, and their job really pivots on having the correct data in the CMMS, coming from the planners, coming from the technicians. Planners, they need to trust the data that's in the CMMS because they're the ones who are deciding who does what and where it goes. And finally, technicians, they need to know that the data that they have in their hand is accurate down to the manufacturer, the model, the serial. So if they are going to get a spare, they know that that information is right, all the way down to knowing where is this asset, where is it located, how long is it going to take me to get there, what information do I need to know before I go out to it. So field data operations, if you want to shorten that, it's okay, how do we actually record asset information in the field, or how do we verify the information that's already in our CMMS? So what we've built essentially is a survey tool. You go out into the field, you drop a pin, we've integrated with your CMMS, or we pulled in information from your CMMS that will allow you to verify information that's in your CMMS. There's validations that you can build in to allow for right first time data entry. It works fully offline and syncs when you go back into Wi-Fi. And it's useful across the whole life cycle of your plant. You could be a vendor organization, or you could have your team in a greenfield site, going around site, recording information, building your CMMS contemporaneously for the first time. Or it could be this ongoing sustaining where you're moving through the site and you want to make sure that in a brownfield scenario that your plant is and your CMMS is up to date. So we'll give you a quick demo of how this works now. In this demo, we're going to go through 3 scenarios. First of all, we're going to show you how you can fill in the gaps in your CMMS. Next, we're going to show you how easily it is to add an asset to PlantQuest that can then be backfed into your CMMS. Thirdly, we'll look at verifying a piece of asset information or suggesting a change to a piece of asset information in your CMMS. And finally, then we'll look at working with rooms within PlantQuest and how that can be leveraged into your CMMS as well. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to find a level transmitter. So you can see this level transmitter is just a tag and an asset type, no other information. So we've entered the asset, it's found it for us, it's been located already. And what we're doing here now is we're entering all the asset information. So essentially what we're doing is we're filling in the gaps in the CMMS. You just quite simply hit save. That information then is fed back to the CMMS admin through various ways. It can go as a report, it can go as, as a document, or it can be just approved in PlantQuest as well. Next, now we're going to add an asset. So you can see we've dropped a pin in this plant room. So the pin is actually pixel accurate. So the pixel where you drop it is where it is. So you're standing in front of this in the room. So you enter the asset tag, you enter your asset information. There's a lot of autocomplete technology in here as well. So systems and asset types can be imported from your CMMS. Fields here are fully customizable according to your CMMS as well. So you can see how quickly somebody can just walk through site, drop pins, add assets, move through the site, add photographs as well. Very easy. You can either add a photograph from your device or you can take a photograph while you're out in the field, hit save, again, move on to the next asset. Finally, the third scenario that we have here is actually verifying a piece of asset information. So here we have an asset that's in the CMMS. It's already been positioned in PlantQuest, and somebody's in the field, they're doing a bit of work on it, and they realize that it's not an AWB transmitter anymore. It's actually a GEMU transmitter. So here we've made a suggestion. So this is a GMP piece of equipment. So this is fed back to the CMMS admin as a suggestion, and they can yay or nay it, they can okay it onto their CMMS if they want. But most importantly, this change is attached to a user who had a device in the field contemporaneously suggesting a new manufacturer for this piece of equipment. So it's very trustworthy, and it can be accompanied by a photograph also. Finally, now what we're going to look at is what you can do with rooms. So we have a chemical storage area here. So you can add owners to a room. So this is all very useful information. You can say it's a hazardous area that you need PPE. So if you are having shutdowns or if you have visitors coming to site, they know information on the area that they're going to. You can just hit save, and all this feeds back into the wider PlantQuest system, which I'll show you in a second. So why use PlantQuest capture? So I think you can all agree there was huge speed and accuracy of capture there. So you're contemporaneously adding asset information in the field, you're dropping pins, you're adding information, you're moving to the next asset, you're hitting save. All the while you're doing that, you're geolocating your asset register. So every time you drop a pin, you're saying, this is where this asset is. Fields are fully customizable, so you can leverage your existing CMMS or data register. And as you saw there, you can capture notes and photographs. So you're preserving that tribal data, you're taking it out of people's heads. And all the while you're doing that, you're building this visual or digital twin of your assets that's verified all the time. So a quick case study here. So this is a large brownfield facility, 12 buildings, up to 5 levels within this site. So there was a few challenges here. So their CMMS data was quite outdated. There was multiple owners throughout the life cycle of this plant. Every time the plant changed hands, it changed CMMS. There was fields lost. There was gaps created, and it was just quite old as well. Nobody knew where the assets were. There was delays in task execution, huge reliance on tacit knowledge. So when somebody left, all that knowledge was taken with them. And because the CMMS data was so old and out of date, there was huge challenges around their spare parts strategy. So when equipment did go down, quite often it stayed down for quite a long time because they found that assets were old, out of date, not being manufactured anymore, no spares in stock. So essentially what we did was we deployed PlantQuest Survey and PlantQuest OneView. So we integrated with their SAP PM CMMS. So we enabled them to capture and verify 4,000 assets. So there was 600 assets on the site that were never actually in their SAP system. And there were 3,400 assets that needed to be verified and updated. So, there was multiple occasions where the wrong manufacturer or the wrong model number was input into the CMMS. So that really transformed their spare parts strategy. And asset location was obviously shared with everyone. So that made routing and finding assets for work orders a lot easier and really supercharged task completion times using PlantQuest. So I'll give you a quick overview of PlantQuest here. And what I'll show you here is how the information that we collected in the survey can be translated into a 2D and 3D view of your site. So this is what the normal user of the system sees. So what you have is an overview of your site from an asset perspective. So if you're integrated with a CMMS or an asset management system, all the information from your CMMS is here and it's geolocated to the exact location where the equipment is in the plant. So you can see the asset tags, you can see the asset information that you've pulled from the CMMS, up to and including photographs that you've added. So again, all the information that you've collected when you've done your asset survey or dropped your pins can be viewed in here. So this is the asset that we added earlier on. So you can see that this is a Grundfos pump. You can see the exact location where it is in the room. And here's all the asset information that we dropped entered while we dropped the pin out in the field. And then what we're also doing, because we're integrated with their CMMS system, is we're pulling work orders, historic work orders and current work orders. Photographs that we added are also in here as well. And what you can also do then is you can move from the 2D into the 3D. So what we do is we work with Naviz, and we offer this because we know the size and area of every room. You can see it highlighted there. We're able to offer scanning of individual rooms or areas or the whole plant. So you can actually jump down and get that extra bit of context within the facility. So you can navigate around in 3D. There's two types of data here. There's 360 panoramic photographs, but there's also LiDAR data as well. So there's a full engineering suite available to cut, to measure, to export, to scan to BIM. So there's a full point cloud behind this data as well. Another really good use case that we've seen, another thing you can do is you can route through the plant. So if you want to route from a workshop to this pump, so you can see the purple line across the screen here, routing you to the stairs, then bringing you up the stairs straight to your pump. You can also filter for specific groups of assets. You can filter by system, subsystem, discipline, asset type, work order type. Filters are fully customizable. So here we're looking at all the PW valves across the site. Once upon a time, you would have been following a P&ID to get to these, bringing vendors to site, escorting them. Now it's simply a case of running a filter, routing, showing all the assets across the site, and people can route to them accordingly. Finally, then you can build work packs. So here we're going to demonstrate a work pack of some calibration equipment. So you can see the exact locations of specific pieces of calibration equipment in the site as well. I should say that this is a part of our asset tracking module. So if you do want to extend the system to asset tracking, that's available also. So finally, we'll talk a bit about a typical deployment of the system. So generally what we see is a typical deployment takes about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. really, to get going, all we need is layout drawings of your plant and asset registers, so we're able to advise you the best way to work with your assets within PlantQuest. It's worth noting that we've worked with SAP, Maximo, Hexagon, Eames, and other similar systems as well. What we do is we create the interactive maps. If you do want to do some scanning of your site as well, as I said, it's offered on a per square meter or foot basis. Generally, we capture 3,000 meters, about 10,000 square foot per day. We then embed all the routing information within the maps. If you want to do a CMMS integration, or if you want to just feed the information from PlantQuest into your CMMS through a verified route, that's possible also. Finally, then it's system build and config. And generally, we need probably 3-4 days on site for the whole thing, and that's at the end for commissioning and training. So from start to finish, you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks. That's probably the key piece of information here, to get a full virtual plant ready for you to go out into the field and start recording asset information and improving your CMMS. So that's all. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming today. I think, we're exactly on time. We said 20 minutes, and it's just 19 minutes now. So we're going to be here for the next few minutes. So if anybody has any questions, please do ask them, and we'll do our best to get to you.
Excellent, Ger. As I said, spot on time. So Ashish, excuse me if I've got that wrong, just asked the question, is this cloud-based?
Yes, it's a cloud-based system, yeah. So we host in the cloud. We're deployed with 3 out of the top 5 global pharma companies. We're fully security assessed, and yeah, it's a cloud-based system. There are on-prem on-prem options available if you want, but generally we tend to work in the cloud. Yeah.
Excellent. We've had a couple. So if anybody has any other questions, guys, you can put them into the comments on LinkedIn. And we've had a couple questions earlier, Ger, as well. So let me see. Start here. So we have a BIM with assets tagged on it. Can we leverage this within PlantQuest?
Yep. So generally, what we find is that BIM is a great tool for construction, but how it continues into operations is a personal bugbear of mine. But yeah, if you have a BIM 100%, if you have assets in it, it's a very easy job for us. It's probably half a day's work that will allow us to export all the asset information from the BIM. No problem. Yeah.
Excellent. I have 2 questions here from John. So to start with, which CMMS systems are supported?
So we can work with any CMMS system. So generally, we can work with Maximo, SAP, Hexagon, Eames, Ultimo, Blue Mountain. Generally, so long as the CMMS has an API, we can work with that. And I do see John's second question here. Yep. So we work with Zone 0, 1, 2 Android devices, and we do work with hazardous rated iOS devices too. I'd have to come back to you on the zones, but Android, we're all the way up to Zone 0, and Apple, I'll have to come back to you, John. But yeah, the short answer is yes, hazardous location rated there, yeah.
And actually, just to follow up with you on your first question, can we also integrate and extend this with M365? So I'm going to guess that's Matterport?
No, Microsoft.
Oh, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Ashish, yeah, we can extend this to integrate with Microsoft 365. No problem with the likes of SharePoint and stuff. Exactly.
Excellent. So what else we here? So how does asset information get from your or our survey tool into our CMS?
Okay, so if you want to get so if you're using PlantQuest to do a build for the first time, so what we do is we take the CMMS that you're using and we configure all the fields in PlantQuest to mirror the CMMS that you're using. So when we would do an export in the exact format needed to import into your CMMS, and if your CMMS is up and running, we generally work with the on-site CMMS team to create the right workflow that allows them to review any changes that are suggested in the field to allow, and then it gives them the right format to import them into their CMMS on an ongoing basis. So that could be as soon as a change is suggested, it's raised to the CMMS team, but most people go for a weekly or a monthly report into the CMMS admin of the plant.
Excellent. We have one more here. So we have over 200 people on site each year. Can PlantQuest be used for shutdowns?
Yeah. So one of our clients uses PlantQuest quite extensively for shutdowns. So what they will do is they will look at all the assets and areas that are going to be included in the shutdown, and PlantQuest becomes an integral part of actually planning for the shutdown. People visit the assets in the field, all the locations are added for the assets prior to the shutdown. Work packs are built, and when shutdown workers come to site, they're given the work packs are built into PlantQuest, and they're able to hit the ground running basically.
Excellent. I know there is a slight delay between the stream, so we'll just give it another couple seconds in case anybody has any other questions. Jer and I will be staying on for another 5 minutes.
I just see a question coming in there, Krevin, talking about deployments in the USA. Yep, we have multiple deployments in the USA, and we also work with partners extensively in the USA, in North Carolina, and in the New England area also.
Excellent.
I think that's it, Krevin, for today.
Yeah, I think so. We'll hold on another couple of minutes, Jer, just in case any come through. But for everyone that's still online, this has been recorded, so you'll be able to watch this back on demand using the same link that you joined us here today. And if you'd like any more information on anything, you can reach out to Jer or myself.
Perfect. Thanks for your comments, Nick. I'll take this.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done any extensive hazardous area assessment management programs for any clients? Hi, Alan. Short answer is no. We do have the ability to zone out areas for hazardous area mapping. We've done that in the past, but I think it would probably be a conversation to understand what you're looking to do in terms of the programs. So if you're looking to actually identify in a digital map all your various hazardous areas, yeah, that's something we can definitely do. If you have a tool that you're using to manage your hazardous area inspections, then we can look at that as well and integrate with that. Or we have partners that have solutions that can do that as well.
Okay, guys. Thanks everyone for your questions. Like I said, this is all pre-recorded, so you can watch back on demand. And if you have any questions, or would like us to cover anything that we haven't of PlantQuest that we haven't shown you today, please reach out and we can send you over some collateral.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.